What's up, everyone? Sean Mitchell here with Extend the Drive Best Ball Live, episode number 34. Got a very special guest here, Mr. Zain Dhanani. Glad to have you, Zain. I know we've talked a lot on X. We've connected on player takes from anywhere to pulp culture, talking about shows that it seems like we've kind of been in lockstep a lot with a lot of the same stuff that we like, shows, sports, player takes. So how's it going, man? Glad you're here.
We're like best buddies who never met,
Like
pen pals or something like that. And I don't even know if we're dating ourselves by talking about pen pals, but I know that was the thing when I was in elementary school.
In elementary school, yeah, you finally get that. Yeah, you finally find somebody that you have a couple of common interests with. Are we best friends? It's like, yeah. It's great, man. It's always fun. Great to see. Great to obviously chat with you and all that stuff. And obviously, like I said, glad to have you on. And it's gonna be a good show, fun show. Obviously, I know there's going to be a lot of degenerate best ball fantasy football talk here. But before we get into that, Zain, tell us a little bit. You're previously with ESPN, right? I saw that in your bio. Obviously, you were also with Milwaukee Bucks. So what did you do? I know you were kind of in the research, it looked like department for ESPN. Was that kind of your first gig? Is that like your first intern type deal? How did you kind of get there?
The degeneracy started a long time ago, and it all started with it really did start with fantasy baseball, football, something like that. I think I was 10, and my brother was like, "You need to sign up to do this," and I was like, "It's all numbers. This is so cool." And
easy.
Yeah, this was like when you were drafting Mark McGwire first, and Sammy Sosa and Ken Griffey and those guys, right?
Oh, that home run race. Yeah, don't get me talking about that.
That got me started in the degeneracy. And then I don't know if you remember that show on ESPN that was I forget exactly what it was called, but it was a show where you could become a sports anchor, and it got me so interested. And there a bunch of dudes were competing to become a sports anchor, so they had to basically do these sports quizzes and whatnot. And then there was Stump the Schwab. And
I was just about to say Stump the Schwab, but you're not talking about Stump the Schwab because, man, Stump the Schwab was one of my favorite shows.
It was called Dream Job. They did 2 or 3 seasons of that. Anyway, my brother actually tried to get on, and he worked for Fox Sports 1 and stuff. He's 5 or 6 years older than me. And then so that all kind of drew my interest to all of this stuff. And I just kind of stayed with it for a long time. And then when I got to college, I started my own website when I was in college. It was called World Sport Report. And it was just random. I would do fantasy baseball rankings, football, basketball, etc.
Cool.
And when I was in high school, played high school football, played basketball, track, everything. And I was actually getting recruited D1, and I fractured my spine my junior year of high school.
I was going to say something about that because I remember you put, I think you made a tweet that you were showing, or I guess maybe you were going through all of your own offer letters or something or the interest, getting those letters in. I bet that was, so I bet that was probably, but I didn't get the backstory that, you had fractured your spine. So go ahead. But yeah, that's obviously we know how that goes as an athlete. That's just tough, man.
Yeah. My parents were moving. So they were sending me hey, do you want all this stuff? It's yeah, I'll take some of it just to prove to my kids that I'm not some dinky I
was there, right? Yeah.
Anyway, so that all drove interest. And I did this website in college. I was studying accounting, but also doing stats and programming and stuff. And I was I can do all these interesting statistical models. You think you know everything when you're 19, 20.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And so you're just oh, I found this stat that really highly correlates with luck in baseball. It's called BABIP. Great. I'm going to start doing all this cool stuff with this. And then, you start doing all the stuff. And I entered contests, one for team rankings for March Madness, go Illinois, because I went there. So I'm excited for the Final Four
I was going to say, you got a little bit of a sweat there, don't you?
Yeah, and I'm planning on going, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, really? But, you're going to? It's Final Four. Nice.
Yeah. Chicago to Indy's 3 hours, so not a big deal.
Nothing. Gotcha.
But anyway, that background then got me to ESPN. ESPN led to other opportunities. At ESPN, I was doing stats and info, research. So some of the fun tweets, people that have these fun accounts that are doing tweets about these crazy stats and stuff.
Yeah.
I was literally sitting there with Stuart Scott and telling him hey man, this is the first time this has happened in forever. Whatever the stat was.
Scott, yeah, love that, man. I'm sure he was fun to work with.
It was a great time. And then at the time, they were also building Basketball Power Index and Football Power Index, and I was kind of doing some data cleaning for that. And then parlayed that into like, I did a whole career in analytics and all sorts of different things too. Worked my way into the Bucks, did analytics for them. And then I've just kind of like stayed involved kind of in this weird, like career-wise strategy and analytics, and then doing stuff for fantasy points lately and everything.
Yeah.
Doing research in the football space, watching a lot of film, and then spending time like actually trying to create new metrics that are more like predictive. Not a lot of people do metrics that are like, oh, this correlates with this, and these are like really complicated, like heavy math things that I think can take things to the next level. And the interesting thing to me is like, not everybody has access to like charted NFL data. Sure. And luckily I do have that through the fantasy points like relationship. And what that does enable me to take some of this information and be like, dude, we can basically like simulate a full NFL game and just kind of see how things play out, like take play caller ratios and, Juwan Jennings is running these routes from the slot. Like those are the favorite routes that Brock Purdy likes to throw. And like, how does that all play out in a fantasy season? And I've started working on stuff like that. And one of the more recent projects I took on was like this rookie model that we're trying to use for projections.
I think that's the one I saw you here recently talking about. I was going to ask about that, but I was going to ask how that was going. And, obviously I knew something with the rookies. That's obviously everybody's talking about rookies right now. So
it's so up in the air. And like this class is so interesting too, because I feel like you have very few like super elite players. And then like at some positions, you're just like, man, we don't have that much talent. So especially running back, I'm like, dude, you've got one guy that is starting. The rest of the guys, it's whack-a-mole.
Like up in the air. Right. Yeah. Like right after Jeremiah Love, it's like, well, who's going to go next and who's actually going to do anything for a team this year for sure. But I mean, obviously there's going to be some great landing spots. There's going to be some fun things that people are going to definitely want to laugh about. That's what the fantasy space is good for, right? I mean, but exactly. So let's get to there, man. Obviously, I know you've obviously been playing fantasy for a long time. How long have you been doing best ball? I mean, do you still do all the traditional? Do you do, while we go ahead?
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it all. So best ball I've been doing for about 5 years now. Not as experienced as you or maybe or other people who like started this life a long time ago, but best ball, kind of hit my radar once like Best Ball Mania hit the scene, and then
UD basically launched.
And there's like these big like tournaments and stuff, and I was like really excited about it and thinking through the different strategic aspects, and it's just super interesting. I feel like it's quote unquote getting more solved, but there's every year presents a new board, and that's what's interesting with it versus DFS. It's a new board every single year, and that board presents different opportunities. And like, you listen to different like people talk about, hey, you need 3 quarterbacks, you need this or that. And now the price of quarterbacks have changed. The running backs are back up like they were 3 years ago. And it's just really interesting to think through like the changes that have taken place over time. So best ball is like
the metas that change every year.
Yeah, so I'd say best ball is like my favorite right now, but I still do FFPC. I think my team last year for the main event ended up in like the top 80 or so. So I usually do like 3 or 4 FFPC teams, and usually split it with my brother, and we just keep that fantasy thing going from when we were 10 years old to now.
Well, that's awesome. That's cool, man. I mean, me and my brother, it's funny you say that because like we used to play a lot of DFS together when it was really at its height. He never really got into the season long stuff, which I used to, kind of dabble with it. I never really did it seriously until basically I started playing best ball, which I started back whenever draft was still here. And I think it was funny. I think my cousin, I don't know if you remember Draft Street. This was one of the like original OGs snake drafting sites. My cousin, he's a little bit older than me. He's probably in his early 40s. And he's like, man, you got to come over here and try this out. I cannot for the life of me think of who the analyst was. It was real big. It wasn't Matthew Berry. It was somebody before that. But it was like if you beat him in a lineup, or if you beat his lineup for whatever slate it was, you get, $5 and whatever. It was just some random thing. And for once, I actually beat the guy and I was just I had no clue what I was doing. So that was just like spark in the head, bang. I was like, okay, I want to, I'm going to start doing this. But yeah, I think it was more like at first when I first started drafting season long best ball, really didn't start getting into it till draft. And then I think I did pretty good. Like in the first year, they had their biggest contest. And at the point then, the strategy really wasn't anything to me. Like it was just like, okay, I'm just going to get in a draft. Whatever. I know who I like. I know who the players are. But then kind of like you were going, that's whenever the wheels really started turning. When UD launched, that was whenever it was started to get more into the strategy of things. And the aspect that it is season long and not one slate, like that's the biggest, I think, thing for me. And I kind of got away from playing the DFS really because of that reason. It's like I want to now it's still early, and to the kind of the comment that you made, like the quotation mark, it's solved. And I think a lot of people do think that it will. I don't think it'll ever be solved. Like I don't think you're going to be able to use a draft assistant in 10 years and it just basically give you the nut, landing for every single spot. I mean,
especially for big board, like big board's so interesting because we have no idea where the rookies land. And so it's like we're somewhat guessing and we're taking all the information of like, hey, this guy's a top 30 visit for whatever team. And maybe we're hoping that he lands on that team. But
right. And that's all you can really do, right? You're just predicting like what's going to happen. Obviously, whenever you get closer to August, you've gotten all the information. Camp's already, finished up. Teams are cutting their rosters. Of course, that makes it a lot easier to draft. We'll definitely say that. But I love that. I love this part of the season, like trying to get in the early teams, getting in those early ADPs that are going to just massively shift. So, yeah, really that's a lot of people don't like drafting early. I mean, they don't want to draft till they know all the information, and I guess playing a little bit more risk averse, whatever you want to call it. But I enjoy drafting in this part of the season. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and I'm going to count us down and get us in the big board. So we are on Underdog. We are drafting the big board, which I put out a tweet today, about 85% full. We have the NFL draft, 23rd? And so, yeah, this thing will lock on the 23rd at 7 o'clock, pretty much drafting time. It's about 85% full at the moment. So if you are wanting to get into the streets, I would say right now it's probably your best bet. Obviously, it's a little bit harder in these time boxes. Let's count it down. 5, 4, 20 seconds, 3, 2, 1, and we're in, and we're waiting on 5. But, yeah, so Zane, how many have you done? Are you drafting on UD solely, or are you doing any DK, doing any other sides? I know you said you do the FBC and stuff, but I don't know if you're getting into that.
Mainly right now I'm doing Underdog. And I've done a number of drafts, and like – I just think it's so interesting, the strategy this year with the running backs going a lot earlier than they were in previous years.
Sure.
This reminds me of like 4 years ago for that. The quarterbacks being pushed up. Like you can't get a reliable starting quarterback that is 100% playing like all the games after like round 13.
Yeah.
So those two things are kind of interesting. Other things I've been thinking through, like, I'm trying to put myself in the position of where we were at this point last year, and everyone was talking about how amazing the rookie running back class was.
Yeah.
It kind of flopped in year one. Like we had some hits, but like minor hits, nothing that was like a big like breakout or anything.
Right.
And part of me,
Travion Henderson, or RJ Harvey still didn't really do all that great. Like the main ones that we thought were going to be real big fantasy producers in year one, it just didn't really happen.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the talent isn't there. That some of it's like opportunity based. Like some of these veterans were in the different backfields, and people have switched teams up. And so like part of me is thinking through like, okay, if you're just a talent evaluator, and everyone thought last year's class was pretty good, maybe there's an opportunity this year for the sophomores, right? Like, and then thinking through like some of these guys are on teams where they could be potentially a handcuff. One guy I keep thinking about that I really liked pre-draft last year was DJ Giddens. And like, obviously we technically don't know who's backing up Jonathan Taylor, but you think that if he went down, like that could be a really good role for somebody to take on. And if DJ Giddens is as good as we thought he was, he's barely getting drafted right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he kind of lose the RB2 job there early on in the season, and then
It was confusing because they were rotating in Amir Abdullah last year.
I was like, it's not Goodson because Goodson I think got hurt, and then it was Amir Abdullah was the one that kind of started taking over, but it was more for like passing work, right? I mean, he wasn't exactly taking carries.
So, and those are the situations like when there's the bell cow, and then you have a guy that's like kind of the backup, but he's maybe like the pseudo backup because he's just like good at spelling. But if the guy actually went down, like I've been thinking about this with Derrick Henry too, and I'm like, all right, if Henry goes down, is Justice Hill going to be the guy, or is it going to be Rasheen Ali or some random dude that they sign or draft? You know, I just think there's a lot of situations that end up being like that too.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the more important things, you know, when you're thinking about roles and you're thinking about who's the next guy up, who's, you know, the guy after that, and trying to find out, like, which one of those guys have the most immense value, which, by the way, we are at the 1-9. We do have the 9 pick, so once we kind of get closer, we'll chat about that first pick. But, yeah, I think that's what a lot of people don't really take more than anything, just face value. They're just like, oh, well, he's the running back too. You know, he's going to easily jump into CMC's 40 touches a game. Like, that's not going to happen for most of these guys that are definitely the biggest studs. Like, it's just not going to happen that way. Like, those guys are who they are because that's the role that they've got. But the person behind that, even though they were brought in to kind of either be that role or become, you know, some sort of complement to that role, that doesn't obviously mean they're just going to jump right into that role.
I completely agree. All right, we're coming up, right?
We are. So looks like JT's still here. Lamb, Amon-Ra, Justin Jefferson, James Cook, Ashton Jeanty are the top of the queue. We still got 2, and there goes JT. So we are 1 pick away here at the 9. So are you trying to prioritize running backs early, or are you kind of playing it the other way, where a lot of people were doing a lot of zero run? We are on the clock. So what are you thinking right here?
I mean, I kind of agree with your ranks. Like, I think I like Justin Jefferson better than Amon-Ra. I think he has more like big time upside. Like, if you want an 1,800-yard season, he could do it. I don't think Amon-Ra can get there.
Well, and are you worried about Drew Petzing being the OC now over in Detroit? Like, a lot of people are not so worried about it. Oh, Dan Campbell's going to call the plays. But, you know, they had a lot of O-line issues last year. And now, you know, the OC was, you know, obviously a total fallout with John Morton. Didn't work out.
I think when you have a guy come in, when you've had like an established team routine offense, like the Lions have had for like 3 years now,
right?
I don't think things are going to change that much. Like, it's going to be more driven by the quarterback, and Goff is still there. Yeah, they still have Dan Campbell. Like, they're going to play to the strengths of their team, and it's like you can pretty much write on paper, like, yeah, Amon-Ra will get somewhere between, like, if he plays the full season, like 1,200 to 1,400 yards with, I don't know, like 8 touchdowns or something like that. So,
yeah, and I agree. Like, you know, Kyler Murray, I fully expect him to be able to elevate JJ again to where, you know, he was prior to, you know, like a Kirk Cousins, who was actually getting Justin Jefferson to having those monster seasons. I think that Kyler hopefully will be able to do that too. We are back up here at pick 16. What are you thinking? Got a couple of running backs?
I think it's tough to not go running back in the first 2 rounds. So I think I would prioritize Marion Hampton. I think this new offensive situation and like the offensive line getting healthy, I think this team, like the offense can be so good. We saw it at times last year.
Yeah, and then add in Mike McDaniel, right?
Exactly. And I like, he's definitely not the level of athlete as Achane, but he is a good pass catcher. He's super fast. He can change direction. Great. Like he's a great athlete. So there's nothing to worry about from my perspective there.
Are you worried about the signing of Keaton Mitchell? Or do you – I mean, they did give him a pretty decent chunk of money, $5 million guaranteed, right? But the fact of the matter is, you know, a lot of backup running backs are getting kind of that kind of money-ish, you know, $2 to $4 million. Rashad White only got $2 million. I mean, so
I think in most situations, guys get spelled or split in some way. Like, it's more about the percentage of the split, right? So is it going to be 65-35, or is it going to be like 80-20, or how's it going to work out? I think all the high value touches go to Hampton. He's just huge. Like,
yeah, and like you said, he really is actually good. He's good out of the backfield. He's a good pass catcher. He showed that last year. I mean, he was getting 5 to 7 targets a game. There were a couple of games where he was, almost getting 5, 6 receptions a game, which is huge for especially as a rookie, getting that kind of workload.
Yeah, and this is one of those rare situations where I think, like, okay, you could be right on both, and maybe Hampton gets like 70%, but the times that Keaton Mitchell like plays a little bit more, he could just smash because he's got that like breakaway speed type of stuff. And I think we saw that with Achane and Raheem Mostert one year.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's an opportunity, like in some situations, where both of those guys are like eating,
Yeah. And to that point, like, where do you see Vidal in that role? Like, is he? A lot of people, which I've had different conversations with especially on this show specifically about this backfield, which we're about to make a pick at 33. Once we make that, we can kind of further discuss here. So Hampton, Justin Jefferson, we did one running back, one wide receiver start. We've got McMillan, T. Higgins, Kyron Williams, Rasheed Rice, Bucky Irving, Garrett Wilson, Ladd, Mika Egbuka, and Javonte. It's the top of the queue currently. Where are you thinking, man?
Are you the local Panther? Oh, never mind. All right, I was going to say, how'd you feel about that? I'm
definitely a tech guy, but
I think that in this spot, Rasheed Rice has like the biggest wow. Like, why are we not drafting this guy in the first round situation? So I like always want to lean here. Obviously, you like split exposures, but to me, he's like I don't know, man. Like,
I'm not completely fading him. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of the thing is surrounding his legal issues. But you can't deny the talent. That's certain.
Don't like the guy, just like the price. That's pretty much the situation.
Right. It's like we don't have to like him. We don't have to, don't even really have to cheer for him, really. But as long as he produces on the football field, I hate to sound that way. I hope that doesn't sound terrible because it sounded terrible after I said it. I'm like, okay, well, I don't really know how else you could say it. Like, it is what it is. If he is on the football field for whatever reason, whether they decide not to pursue anything else or do anything, then hey, what can we do about that? Right, nothing. So, but we are back on the clock here at pick 40. Our fourth pick. What are you thinking here? Bucky at the top, Buka, Devonta, Luther, J-Mo.
I really like Mecca Buka here.
Okay. I think
again. Nice. Yeah, exactly. He showed it a little bit last year. Then the entire offense fell apart. I think Baker had a shoulder injury.
Right.
And things just kind of like didn't work out. Oh, and the offensive line got completely berated.
Yeah, right.
But like in all of these like metrics and models and whatever, I built this thing called receiver score. And Buka just stood out like every single game. It was like, this guy's hitting the top of the charts. Even when he wasn't producing some games, it was like, well, he's still getting open. It's just a matter of like
getting the targets, getting the work, right?
Getting the targets, right? So his expected targets were super high most games based off
that I was building. And then now Mike Evans is gone. Chris Godwin, a year off the injury. Everybody's kind of thinking that they're banking on kind of his bounce back. But honestly, I don't have much Godwin. I definitely have more Egbuka, but I do have a lot more McMillan just because he's going so late. Like Jalen McMillan, once he came back from the neck injury, kind of really just kind of stepped in and demanded targets. I mean, he played really well. So yeah, I've gotten quite a bit of him, but I do want more Egbuka. But I did want to reach back on the Hampton conversation we were having. How do you see that shaking out? Is Vidal the odd man out, or is Keaton Mitchell the odd man out, or are they both going to have a role? And obviously that sounds scary.
It feels similar to that conversation we were having earlier about like, okay, when a guy goes down, like who's the real backup?
Yeah.
And I feel like Keaton Mitchell is probably he has his role, and that role does not change that much. Like he may get some more carries if Hampton went down.
Right.
I think Vidal is like we can just kind of like grind it out with him.
The direct guy. I mean, he did show that he could be kind of a direct backup to Hampton last year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the way I'm thinking of it too.
So in this situation, what are you usually leaning towards? Because I think you rank Tootin way lower than I do.
Yeah, I've got Swift just because I think Swift is generally, which I'm probably a little bit higher on Tootin now, and I haven't done my rankings in a minute, but we do have to pick really quick. But what are you thinking?
I would take Tootin personally.
Okay. No, and that's why I always say, like, you are the final, the guests. You guys are always the final decision here. I'm the host. Yeah. This is a fun start, I will say. And honestly, yeah, I've got Tootin probably closer to 60 now. And I don't know. Talk me, which obviously there's a lot of people on different sides of that one as well, with the Chris Rodriguez signing and getting he got good money. How do you see that backfield shaking out? Do you think that it's Tootin's backfield and then C-Rod is obviously the direct backup, or there are some outfits that think that C-Rod's going to be the lead here?
Personally, I don't think that a coach is going to just give somebody the backfield. Like, I don't think that it's fully determined right now,
right?
In their heads, and I know this is an expensive pick. What I like to do is just believe in the talent, right? What I saw, and I watched every snap of Bashal Tootin multiple times. All right, let's see what we got here.
Yeah, basically, it's kind of take a pick of a second year running back. Not really any quarterbacks. What do you think?
I'm okay taking Scatterbo here.
Okay, I'm fine with that. And I will say, I don't have much, and this is also, I've mentioned this before, but this is also why I like having, co-hosts on these shows, is because you guys help diversify my portfolio too. So
yeah,
we're just, and that's good. That's the way you want, but anyway, going back to the Tootin thing, go ahead and finish. I know you were saying something.
So I watched all the snaps. I watched all 22. I watched every single snap multiple times. And it was very clear to me, like, when they ran zone blocking scheme, like, plays where there isn't a defined hole. Like, that's what zone blocking is. It's like, hey, we're doing all of this, like, crazy stuff, and then we're relying on the running back to figure out where to go. Mm-hmm. I thought his vision was excellent. And then the problem is that we didn't see like the high level burst that we thought we would see. Like, when people are putting all the metrics on tape from like the combine and stuff, it was like, dude, this guy's like, speed score, everything.
Supposed to be lightning fast. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And so we didn't see that. And I'm hoping that in year two that kind of translates. We saw a lot of it from ETN, but I watched all the plays and all the film, and there was a lot of plays where ETN like had a massive hole that you could drive a truck through.
Yeah.
And he took those to the house. And like, that didn't happen for Tootin. I don't know why, but it didn't. So I actually think that he has the talent to do it. And like, he'll just show that in the off season, and he'll win the role. And I'm not expecting something where it's like, hey, this guy's doing 80-20 split. Like, I think it's more of like the Bucky, Rashad White, and Sean Tucker, like kind of like 65-20, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I think I can agree with that. And I want to make another point after we make this pick here, but we are about to be back up. So 0-3-3-0, 3 running back, 3 wide receiver start, which is obviously a good balance here. What are you thinking? There are some quarterbacks, none that really translate with us except for Mahomes.
I really, really, really like Fannin. I think he has a like outside shot to be like a top 2 tight end this year.
Yeah, I have no arguments about Fannin. Talent's definitely there. We saw it all last year. Like, the guy's going to be good. And right now, Cleveland does not really have a ton of receiving options that are going to actually get targets over him, right? I mean, it's just
we'll see if Carnell Tate lands there or something, if they decide to do that.
They definitely could be, yeah.
Yeah, but I still think like what ends up happening if you draft a Carnell Tate is like the offense gets elevated in general, and now your team is maybe in scoring position more often. Like,
good point. Yeah.
I think we just saw a guy who had historic college production, and then he had a terrible combine, and then he came to the NFL, and what did he do? He had like an incredible – every time he started, he was incredible.
Right.
Extrapolate that out. He also had terrible QB play for most of the season. Let's just assume that gets slightly better.
Exactly.
So those are my reasons.
And that's, like I said, completely fair. I like Fannin a lot. I think Shadur actually would be good for him all season long. Let him get in a groove. Let him find some rhythm. Shadur was starting to put it together a little bit there. I don't know how your thoughts on that. I know we are on the clock here. We could grab the quarterback. I don't know if you're grabbing him this early.
I think let's do Mahomes and just bet on like, hey, Nagy's not here. Like this offense transcends.
Yeah, and to that point, like, what's your outlook on? I know he's up and he's doing dropbacks and stuff. Yeah, there is a little bit of worry about him not being ready for week 1, but obviously, I think he will be ready much earlier than later. So, are you worried about that any at all, or
not for best ball? Like if I was doing redraft, I think the price is a little bit lower because I'm trying to make it playoffs or what, and the thing is like the price right now is so good because this is the lowest you've ever been able to draft Mahomes ever.
Right. Yeah.
And now you get the playoff upside of him and you're probably drafting like 3 quarterbacks. And if you do that, like you don't need him to be available week 1. I still think he probably will be.
Right.
But he may not be Mahomes until like week 5 or 6 or something like that. So,
yeah, I could definitely see like a slow start. That would make perfectly good sense. I mean, it is a ACL. It is obviously they've gotten a lot more advanced on the ACL returns, rehabs and stuff of that nature. And it is Mahomes. We saw this guy get the high ankle sprain and basically was turned around and ready to play the next week, which is kind of almost unheard of in some sorts of fashions. But I mean, if you're going to bet on one guy, I don't see why you wouldn't bet on Mahomes here. We are coming back up. Right now we got a 1-3-3-1: Mahomes, Hampton, Tootin, Scatterbo, Justin Jefferson, Rasheed Rice, Egbuka, and then Harold Fannin. Let's see here.
The fortunate and unfortunate thing here is that I really like J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
And we have now we're gonna have 4 running backs, but I think it's a really good price for a guy that he might lead the backfield. Like
you want Dobbins here?
Yeah.
Is that where you want to go? Okay. Yeah, I'm completely fine with that. And I'm also quite invested in J.K. Dobbins as well. I totally agree. Like we saw, kind of what he did to start last season. It was his backfield. I mean, he was definitely getting the lion's share of the totes, and I think they didn't want to have to put R.J. Harvey as much interest into the offense as they did there towards the end, but they had no choice. But yeah, like I agree. I think they want to lean on some guy to be able to lead the load. And I think, J.K. Dobbins is going to be that guy as long as we can say it as much as we want, as long as he stays healthy, right?
Yep. Let's queue up Baker and hope that he lands for us.
My God. As soon as you say it, like it's rolling off your mouth and he gets taken.
Yep. Where's Kyler at? Let's see. Is he?
He just went. Yeah, he went. He went. Yep.
Okay. Let's scroll back up, and I think this is the time that we. Oh my God, we're getting completely stuck. Let's go, Casey Concepcion. I really like him as a potential rookie option.
It's good upside. Yeah, it's good. It's a good upside play. I agree. Obviously, he's gonna everybody's talked. He's gonna creep into the first round easily. Looks the part. So yeah, I totally don't mind that either. But yeah, whenever you were talking about Dobbins, I was sitting there. I was like, well, Kyler's here too, but obviously taking 2 quarterbacks right there is probably not optimal.
I thought that one of those 2 guys would fall to us between Baker and Kyler, and that we would be able to just be like, all right, cool, that's our second quarterback. And that did not happen.
I was going to say, like, you could see, look at this. Look at just, it's all purple in this whole pocket in the first year. And DraftKings probably starts about here in the 8th round.
So look where we drafted Dobbins, and there was 4 quarterbacks out of 6 picks, and that's that's like literally the worst case scenario.
Well, we didn't. Yeah, the only thing that we couldn't have happened, and it happened. I totally get it.
And let's look at the quarterbacks that we have right now that are still like available, and then we can think through like, all right, there's probably options here, like of things that we can do. Like, I mean, I don't love CJ Stroud by any means, but I feel confident that he'll probably play all 17 games if he stays healthy. I think that's a situation where you can get like a Higgins and Noel later. So and Higgins just went, so never mind.
Well, I was gonna say Higgins has been going kind of early also.
Yeah,
I do like Cam. I do like Cam Ward. I do think Daniel Jones is going to be back earlier than later. I think those are probably 2 of the more upside guys. I did like Tyler Shuck. I just didn't want to say anything because I thought if he fell to us, that would have been really nice. but I wasn't banking on it. What are you thinking here, man? I mean, obviously you could do what you want to do with Stroud if you think he's definitely a good.
Yeah, you could do Stroud and then get
because Dalton Schultz is later. He's old. Dalton Schultz is like almost a last round pick at this point. For some reason, people hate him, and I have no clue why. Like I take it a lot.
I would load Kelsey into the queue here too.
Yeah, that's fine. Because obviously, I'm sure you're like me, and well, never mind. He goes too.
You're on live stream. Obviously, we shouldn't say what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think it would be this bad, but we are getting sniped left and right. But Kelsey's been going. He's been steadily creeping up ever since he re-signed, and everybody thinks he's getting $40 million, and it's all just a bunch of contract fluffed around like $13 million, but still yet. 2441. We are back on the clock here at 12.4. Pick 136. Probably wouldn't hurt to get a wide receiver.
Yeah, let's see.
There are none literally here. Diggs is at the top. IU, Travis Hunter, Debo, Jerry.
Like options. I think we could just take Cam Ward, and then we can backstack him with a couple different options.
Yeah, you got Dike, you got Ayo Manor, Gunnar Helm, Chig is even back here, which Chig's starting to move up.
Well, Chig's on the.
Oh shoot, I forgot. Yeah, I can't. Gunnar Helm's the one I was thinking of. I wasn't thinking of Daniel Bellinger. But
I still do think there's a decent amount of value at receiver. I've been thinking through this a lot. If you click on the receiver tab, even like later and stuff too, like these guys, like when Diggs somewhere, he could be solid. Like you're really looking for guys that can hit your lineup like 2 or 3 times this year, right? So if Diggs lands in a favorable situation, like I don't know, he could be the wide receiver 1 on the Raiders or something like that, and get 800 yards, and that's a really good pick for like this late in the draft.
I mean, speaking of the Commanders are looking for a slot wide receiver. I mean, that could easily somebody's going to land in that spot. Everybody seems to think it's IU. I mean, Diggs could easily go there if the the money is fair enough, and he could have a really nice role there too. But yeah, Raiders obviously is an interesting one. They don't really have anybody behind Brock Bowers, so totally agree there. Let's see, we're still 10 picks away. Let's go just take a look at. Well, actually, let's recap the team real quick since I have a couple minutes. So we are at pick 109. We started Justin Jefferson, went Omarion Hampton, Rashee Rice, Edniga Egbuka, Tootin, Scatterboo, Fannin, Mahomes, J.K. Dobbins, Concepcion, and then we did the double tap on the quarterback with Stroud and Ward. But yeah, I do like Ward a lot for many of the reasons that we just talked about. Like, there's so many backstack options. Tajay Spears is still there in the later rounds too. So that leads me to my next question. Where do you think Jeremiah Love is going? I know this is a hot topic. I was really like, oh, Tennessee's going to grab him. Now I'm like, I think it's going to be the Giants. And, every Washington fan you talk to thinks he's going to make it to 1-7. I don't think he will. Or, I don't think he'll make it to the 7th pick. We can make this pick real quick, and then we can chat about that if you want.
Yeah.
What do you want to look at? You want to look at I don't mind. What do you think?
Sorry, go ahead. I don't mind taking a chance on a guy that's like not on a team like Ayuk. Like, in my head, he's not going to be on San Fran, so it's like
everybody thinks he's going to Washington. I mean, if you ask any Washington fan, they think Ayuk is a stone lock to be there. It's almost more of a stone lock than Wan'Dale Robinson to Tennessee.
It's possible, but it's also possible any other team just offers him good money and he says, you know what, I like that more. And that could be with one of the quarterbacks that we already drafted. So,
could be completely fair. I mean, KC's, they could definitely add another wide receiver. I absolutely think they will too. So
one thing I wanted to point out with our team too, and I've been talking about this a little bit with our strategy, it's like we have kind of aligned like some divisional kind of correlation things here too, with like Hampton with Mahomes, and then we've got like Stroud and Ward with Tootin, and there's just a lot of kind of like that kind of playing together here too, which I think is
very
kind
smart.
of the way that I like
early. Yeah.
kind of the way that I like to do this. So
no, that's totally a good point, and nice of you to point that out too, because that's if you're wanting to get in this early draft, and then obviously why you always usually bye weeks are apart when you got to start worrying about those items. What do you think? What are you thinking right here though?
I think doing a little team correlation with Strange could be interesting, and then we're hoping that like a Ridley or something else ends up with us, but part of me is not like stressing about if I get Ridley because.
No, I mean, it would definitely have to be a fall. But and honestly, yeah, I mean, with him taking a restructure and staying with the team, I mean, he's still got a shot. I mean, how old is he? 30 now? 20? What is he going to be? 29, 30?
He was old when he came into it. Like, yeah, he was
like RJ Harvey when he came into the league.
He's the opposite of Amari Cooper, who's still like 25, right?
Yeah, and Jason Tatum's still 19. But yeah, like that's what I was gonna say. Like the crazy thing about Calvin Ridley, I was in on Ridley very, very much so last year too. And just I don't know what obviously there was not a good mesh, not a good gel. He got injured early, and then
this is the exact situation that I love to reinvest.
Right.
Like everybody hates something that they liked last year. The team was ran poorly, and now you hope that it's not ran poorly. Like
new head coach, new OC.
Yeah, it's like another version of the Bears, where like, hey, you had a round one quarterback or first pick quarterback, everything just went to crap, and then you're sitting here and saying like, all right, everything's changed now, so maybe there's an opportunity for that thing to swing back up, and I think there's a chance, right? Like.
I mean, if you are betting on Cam Ward, like we obviously are, you've got to have that play, in your portfolio. Like you've got to bet on him somewhat, especially if you already know he's a lock to be on the roster. He took the pay cut. He's going to be there.
Yeah.
So you just kind of got to just say, okay, well, I mean, he's got to be a part of the fold there.
All right, here's our Dalton Schultz pick.
I was going to say Schultz is there. Might as well go ahead and take that. We got to have somebody to pair with the Stroud pick that we decided to make. So
yeah.
I like that though, because I think he could be he could be probably second in receptions for them again. If Nico has any issues, I mean, I like Higgins, but and of course Noel's still there lately. Even Xavier Hutchinson is still there, who I've actually taken a little bit of, not too often much, but I have taken a couple flyers of him just because I think they love him for some odd reason, and he's still on contract. So, but yeah,
I think
there's definitely a lot of worry about Stroud. I think
this is a decent opportunity if the guy doesn't get taken, the top receiver that's available here.
Okay. You like Trey?
I'm good with, yeah. I didn't want to say his name. I didn't want to point it out.
Well, I mean, which hopefully that's not the case. But yeah, would be nice to. Obviously, I want to be invested in that offense. Period. So that's I've taken quite a bit of him as well. Looks like he obviously T Moneybags needs a tight end here. So. Hopefully he'll go that route and take like a stare. It was. I knew he'd probably take a Stowers. Okay, we will take Trey Harris as our 6th wide receiver.
Yep, and I want to make sure that we have on our list Jalen Noel and Gunnar Helm.
Yeah,
and potentially Alec Ayamanor.
Ayamanor is like really not going, but he's not even getting drafted a lot of the time anymore.
And I still kind of believe in the time. I know he didn't get the draft capital. I think a lot of that was some like injury concerns and stuff too. Right. And again, it just goes back to what I was thinking through. Like you're investing in something that's like at rock bottom, right? Like we liked him last year, and then you put this entire team in like the worst situation.
Exactly.
Block, terrible offense coordinator, like play calling's terrible, rookie quarterback. I mean, you're putting things in a blender and saying like, this is the worst situation possible. Great. That's when I want to invest.
Right. Yeah.
It can still be bad, but I'm getting it at a price that I like. So
buy low, sell high. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? I mean, that's literally the name. That's, a lot of people, every time I mention like trying to take a backstack Geno, like, oh no, the Jets, they're going to be so bad. Same situation. I mean, I know they still have the same staff per se, minus the OC, but a jump from Geno to, and I'm not by any means trying to say that Geno's some massive upgrade, but I mean, at least I do think he can help their offense a little bit. We are about to be back on the clock here.
What's is Helm like the top ADP of the guys we need? Yeah. Okay.
He is.
Let's do that. I'm good with the 4 tight end.
I was gonna ask. I was gonna make sure. I was like, "Are you okay with 4 tight ends?" Okay.
I do like. I don't mind it at all, actually, and especially because I feel like we invested decently at running back, and I'm okay with them saying like, all right, we'll take one of those like positions and just say, hey, we're going to be a little bit
fragile. Yeah, and I'm completely like I agree there. Like I'm
because the way this hits is like the Giants don't take Jeremiah Love. He goes to Tennessee, or they just decided, hey, we're going to take Carnell Tate or whoever else.
Yeah,
and then it's like, well, Scatterbo's going to his value is going to go back up to like the 3rd round or something like that. So
no, exactly. Yeah, and again, all reports look to be good for him. Obviously the injury was bad, but yeah, everything looks good as far as him being ready to be there in camp. So there shouldn't be any issues. What are you thinking here? Again, we got a 3-4, 6-4. I didn't know if you were looking to tack on, another running back, or if you were just looking to plug these wide receivers.
I think we should do one more running back, and this is where I like just taking whoever one of the better like rookies are and hoping for a good landing spot and just feeling like. I think Katron's actually a good one. I'm happy to do it because the rest of the guys, I think you're kind of like wish casting into like a day 2 pick. And oh, we got it. Okay, good. I thought it was gone, and I didn't realize you did it. So
I was, which I probably shouldn't let that do that because one time it hit my positional limits and it didn't give me the pick for that reason. But yeah, I probably should hit draft next time to make sure we get who we were talking about.
And that's kind of the way that I'm playing this like rookie class is I like taking the shots on it like kind of after maybe like round 10 or something. And just kind of saying like, hey, let's let the ping pong balls fall where they may. And like going back to the KC Concepcion pick, like I think he could be a 1st round pick if he's a 1st round pick. Like I was literally messing with like all the rookie data earlier right before this call.
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking through it and I'm like, there's very few guys that didn't play at least like 50% of the snaps that get drafted in round 1. And even those guys, like Matthew Golden's an example. He's pretty much the worst case situation.
I was gonna say I don't think he'd get much worse than his rookie year being a 1st round pick at wide receiver.
And you think he'll get drafted kind of in the back half of the 1st round, and then you're thinking like, well, this guy's gonna maybe end up on a good team. I'm happy with that. Like, and let it all figure out. Like Ibuka last year, we thought it was a packed wide receiver room, and then like things happen throughout the season. Sometimes guys are just really freaking good at football, and then they just end up winning a job too. So there's a lot of opportunities for these guys to just show out. Brett Whitefield, the guy that I really, really trust when it comes to like talent evaluation, watched all the film on Concepcion and has him as his wide receiver 2 in the class, actually.
A lot of smart folks. A lot of smart folks are really high on him, and that's where I'm just like, sometimes you just gotta take the word for it. I was just about to say, I was like, really, man? Oh my God.
All right, let's load up. I'm fine just taking Noel here so that we don't get like sniped on him. It's a late pick. It doesn't really matter.
It's
one of my favorite like later wide
receivers.
Is actually Chris Bell if he lasts to us. Messing with some of his stuff, I think the main like concern with him is he tore his ACL.
The injury,
yeah. And the way that I'm thinking through this is like we're hoping for some back-weighted production at this point in the draft. And this is a guy that like, 1st round type of talent by film, like analytics, everything. And you're just hoping like as your 8th wide receiver, this guy can just randomly come on. And I think that
gets fully healthy, then obviously wins a job, right? I mean,
and very likely to get like day 2 draft capital, like early, like round 2. And if that's the case, then again, I was messing with rookie wide receiver data. Like these guys get playing time. They're going to play quite a bit at some point in the season. Oh, wow.
Somebody must be listening here.
Someone is probably listening. Right.
What do you think? You got another one in your pocket?
Yeah, I like Antonio Williams as another one.
Antonio Williams, okay. Yeah, I've seen him. Obviously, seen his name float around quite a bit here lately too. I think he's getting pushed up quite a bit. Obviously, I know these are all last round picks, but he was not definitely this high. I know 3 weeks ago. So I was wondering. I was looking at this guy here with the 2980 and Kobe Clark. Okay, this one might
one tight end.
This draft might get thrown out. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I don't know. Maybe, yeah. I don't think anything was like crazy off for ADP. It's just that he decided.
No, I just think I don't know if it was he just didn't set his positional limits and auto drafted the whole thing or what. But that's definitely a crazy draft there. But yeah, like you said, I mean everything was kind of in line with ADP, so it's not like he really got out of line and was taking any reaches or anything out of.
Okay, so for our draft, we ended up getting sniped probably like 6 times.
6 times at least, I think.
And it was like one pick away. All right.
I got to say, this has been, I've done 4 streams so far this year, and this is by far the worst on which the other streams I maybe got sniped once or twice, but man, it just kept happening left and right on this one. So that was
we still got the correlation. Like we got at least one weapon for all the guys, which is totally fine. We ended up getting Cam Ward with Helm, and we had Stroud with Noel. Did we get Schultz too?
We got Dalton Schultz.
We got Schultz. Yeah. So we had him double stacked. We got the in division correlation because we ended up getting like Tootin, and then those 2 teams also play each other.
Right.
So I feel like we had some stuff there that ended up working out. Unfortunately we didn't get another like Kansas City guy other than Rashee Rice, but I feel like if Rashee Rice has a first round season, you're going to see Mahomes like at the top of the quarterback rankings too.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And I feel like that's possible. And that's the bet that we made when we said, hey, we're going to take Rashee over like, I don't know, whoever else was there at the time.
No, and I totally agree there. But yeah, I did want to run over the team again while I went ahead and named it, obviously. As always, got to say it on stream. Any money won. Hopefully we win all of it. But yeah, obviously split down the middle 50-50 after taxes, as always. Any stream I do, any co-host, I foot the bill. Obviously, the stream is my pleasure. I want you guys to come on and draft with me, so it's always my pleasure. But yeah, obviously, I always got to mention that 50-50 after taxes. We take it down. Hopefully, we win a ton of money. So Zane, we ended with a 3-5-8-4. So we already got unique with obviously the super kind of hyper fragile-ish, I'd say 4 would be more hyper fragile running back. With 5 running back, probably a little more fragile than most would be comfy with. And then the 4 tight end. So already I think there's going to be a lot of uniqueness, with this team here. But at the quarterback, Mahomes, CJ Stroud, Cam Ward, which I guarantee you're probably not going to see that quarterback room very often in any contest. Running back, Hampton, Tootin, Scatterboo, J.K. Dobbins, Katron Allen. And then at wide receiver, we had Justin Jefferson, Rashee Rice, Egbuka, Concepcion, Brandon Ayuk, Trey Harris, Jalen Noel, and Antonio Williams. And then 4 tight ends. Tight end room started with Harold Fannin, Brenton Strange, Dalton Schultz, and Gunnar Helm. I really like the team. I think it actually turned out really well for how many times we got sniped.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking through it. Like, I feel like we have 4 pretty much guaranteed like contributors at running back. And so when I'm doing this like 5 running back build, I feel like, especially if Love does not go to the Giants,
right,
like this is a very strong team from a running back perspective, because I like that like trio. And then I think Dobbins will mix in random weeks.
I think Dobbins could almost be like in every week. If he is still on the role that we think he's in, I don't see why he can't be pretty much an every week contributor. If he, if we're talking, if we're maybe wrong on Tootin, or like you said, if Jeremiah Love happens to go to the Giants, I feel like he could just be an every week, fantasy producer, giving us anywhere from 10 to 15 points and be that guy that just kind of is a staple for us all year. If he stays in the role, and obviously we all know the health thing.
I'm not sure that the room is building in the price of what adding a Jalen Waddle to the offense might do to the offense in general. And so that's another reason why I really like Dobbins is, one, I think that he could get a lot of the running back work. Like he could be the RB1, quote unquote, for the team.
Sure.
Two, that offense could level up this year. They were solid. They've been solid with Nix, but they could level up another level this year because of how well I think Jalen Waddle fits into that offense. And provide an extra gear. And to me, then you're getting a guy like that in the 110 range. Like it's a smash pick for me right now.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, he's starting to move his way back up. He was going probably 20-ish or so picks, later, earlier before it's kind of didn't know if they were going to bring him back or not. They were also talking about making a splash in free agency, and the scare, kind of had him falling pretty good, decent amount. So he's made his way back up. But still, I totally agree. Like there's still absolute value at going at pick 103 or pick 100 even. And getting him, as what could have been even later than a running back 4 for us. So yeah, definitely like that value there.
And, it's just the way the board fell, too. Like, when we were up on the clock, maybe we got sniped, and then there was running backs there instead of receivers. So I obviously think that we're a little bit light at receiver. But there's also opportunity for some of these guys to smash. Like, there's been rumors about Quentin Johnson getting moved. I also just don't think that he's actually that good. He had a great season last year. And, if Trey Harris just is a good football player, he can win that job. And in Mike McDaniel's offense, I think that offense could really flourish.
And Trey Harris was starting to come on a little bit, at the end of last year too. Whenever things were kind of shaking up a little bit.
Jalen Knowles, another one that I'm like, I actually can't believe he gets drafted this late. I think it's because people don't really like Houston offense in general.
I think that's true, yeah, for the most part.
But they had Kirk last year. To me, when he's out there, he's going to get targeted a lot. And I think that they're going to stay in this 11 personnel situation a lot, which they did last year. And now Kirk's gone, and I just think he fits in so well to that slot role. So I think he'll have some big games because he'll play enough to get big games. I don't think that if we looked up and said he had 1,000-yard season, I would say that's crazy. But but if he hit our lineup 2-3 times, I wouldn't be surprised. So
yeah, and you're talking about basically free here. If he gives you 1 20-point game, he's pretty much paying off, right?
Yeah, exactly. 18 is where the cutoff would be a top 12 receivers in a week, and so I think that's totally doable in his current role. A couple touchdowns, 100 yards, great.
Yeah, I mean that's it. If he just happened to have breaks a long run, gets touchdown, has a 5 or 6 catch game along with it, then yeah, he can easily get into that 17, 18 point range. So
the one that I wish we had back is Brenton Strange, only because I probably would have with Fannin. I think we probably should have only gone 3 tight ends. At the time, we were kind of in this 20-second
we were in a crunch.
All the receivers were gone. I'm sure this was probably around the time when we were looking at somebody else, and
there was 2 tight ends at the top of the queue. But yeah. I think it was right in this range here where we didn't really have a ton of wide receivers there to look at.
Yeah,
it might have been at Stephon Diggs range. And
I think it was when Diggs may have gone or something. Anyway, that's one where I feel like we probably could get that one back because I don't mind having Schultz and Helm as 2 and 3, but
yeah,
it's fine. I think largely the team worked out decently well. I would have obviously liked to have more a little bit more double stack with Mahomes. I like getting Kels because it's kind of ugly and
one pick, 2 picks before us. I mean,
yeah, and nobody likes to take Kels because you're all right, I'm gonna get 800 yards, and
especially on stack.
Yeah, but you know what? 800 yards is actually really good for a tight end, and I feel like that's decently reliable production, and he'll probably hit our lineup a couple times.
True, yeah.
And then tight end or the Titans, we just like I don't really believe in DK that much, and I think they filled his role in the slot with Wandale, so I'm kind of like not really that into it.
Yeah.
So I'm mainly focusing. If I didn't get Wandale, I'm mainly focusing my efforts on Iomanor. I really like Gunnar Helm as like a super late round tight end too.
Oh, I do too. He's probably one of my higher owned tight ends. I was on him before he even had an ADP way back when the contest opened. Obviously, I knew Chig was getting moved. I say I knew he was. I didn't think they were going to re-sign him, especially with Gunnar Helm. And then the icing on the cake was Brian Dable coming over and signing his guy, Bellinger. So I'm not worried about Bellinger. Bellinger's a great blocker. Gunnar Helm's going to be the guy that's going to be catching the ball.
One thing we talked about pre-show was about the sophomore situation, and count all the sophomores that you have on the team. It's insane.
Yeah, I was going to say Fannin, Helm, Jalen Noel, Harris, Abuka. Let's see here.
Scatterbo, Tootin.
All three.
Cam Ward.
Our three of our top. Which I was going to mention that too, and then obviously we got talking about something else, which is easy to do for us. But that's one of my biggest bets pretty much every year is year 2 and year 3 guys. Especially like you mentioned, like guys that didn't have the year that most people really wanted them to have. And then that just generally already bakes in that discount. So a lot of times you get those guys cheaper than, obviously, where they should be or what you're perceiving them to be. But that's one of my favorite bets is year 2 guys. Year 3 guys, I also really, really am high on too.
Yeah. I think we ended up with 3 rookies. I usually like to try to get in most seasons, I feel like 4 or 5 or something like that is a good bet for pre-draft, just because you don't know the landing spots. Like some of these guys might end up in a really good spot that you aren't expecting, especially like near the end. Last year, there's guys like Kyle Monungai who's barely getting drafted, but then like he would have hit your lineup a lot last year because he had a good season and he would have been a last round pick. So there's just like dart throws where, let's just say Katron Allen ends up on a team. I'm trying to think like Seattle.
Seattle. We were both right there.
Seattle's Commanders, Seattle. Like it's those teams, right? And then you're just like, well, there's opportunity, and sometimes that just ends up working out. Monungai wasn't my favorite prospect, but he ended up in a situation that
and he earned the trust too. Like if you heard, Ben Johnson during the offseason that once he got to seeing a little bit of him, and he was like, yeah, this guy we trust very much and we want him to have a role. And it was like, okay, well, obviously that's coach speak. You can take that as you want and use it as you want, but that was one that it was actually true. And it actually showed, and Monungai had a great rookie year. And I still think that he probably is in the same role this year, and he's just way more expensive, which is not great, but he has been falling a little lately now. I think that more people are coming around to seeing that obviously DeAndre Swift's probably not going anywhere. Could they draft another guy? Probably. They probably will. But I think Monungai is decently safe in that RB2 change of pace type role that he was kind of in last year, even getting more snaps as the year kind of transpired. But, anyway. It's always going to be a good spot to be in Chicago. Pretty much at any positions with that offense. But I got to get it. So I usually always ask. I got to get a rating 1 to 10 on the team. I don't think I've had below a 7.5 yet on any of the streams this year. But it's only been 4 streams. But I don't think this team's going to be below 7.5 because I honestly rank it a little bit higher than that myself. But I do like the team, so I'm interested to see what ranking you throw on it, Zane.
I'm gonna give it an 8. There was a draft I did a couple days ago that I was like, this is my best team. This doesn't hit that, but I think it'll be an 8. I think it's underrated how much like of the division correlation we got to. I like completely forgot that Dobbins is also correlated with Mahomes. Like,
true.
And then we've got Harris and Hampton. Like, I think that's And then obviously already having Tennessee and Houston, those guys are in the same division, but then we got the Jags in there too.
Right.
With
we doubled up on that too, yeah, with Tootin and Strange. Yep.
So I think that like maybe like raises it up to like an 8.5. I don't know. It's somewhere between 8 and 8.5. So
yeah, I was at an 8.2, 8.3. I mean, at first I was like maybe like a 7.9, and then I was like, man, I really just like, I kind of agree with you on the receiver being a tad thin, but as long as these three guys have great seasons, I think, as long as like you said, if Concepcion comes in and grabs a good role, gets in a good landing spot, and gives us a few good spike weeks, that's great. But there, like you said, there's a lot of potential here. There's a lot of ways that these guys can pay off easily. So, it's not a lot of guys that you're like, oh, they're wide receiver 2 for sure. They probably don't really have much more upside than that. There's a lot of guys here that I feel like could really pop. So, but yeah, I just feel like there's a really good overall balance, starting out really early with the running backs. Quarterback room is going to be just fine. Totally fine with that. And then, yeah, I really do like the tight end room. I even agree with you on the Strange pick because, yeah, if we would have known that we could land Dalton Schultz and Gunnar Helm and stop at 3, it's easy in hindsight, right? But we also could have missed, and they could have went somewhere else, and then it just totally derailed that whole plan. So, yeah, I'm completely fine with how it went. But, yeah, I got 8.2 on it. I think it's 8.2.
At least the Strange pick at least has it has a function in that it still
has value.
We bet on the Jags or we bet on the correlation with the division. Yeah. It's not like we got, I don't know, Isaiah Likely or something.
Yeah, it was just total random one-off, with no quarterback and no divisional stacks or anything. But, yeah, we also got him 11 picks past ADP. So, we got good value on him too there. So, got to throw that in as well. But, yeah, I like the team. I think it's good. I think it's solid.
And this is the way that I really like to do 3 quarterbacks too, is just like I know that I still think 3 is probably optimal. I'm okay with doing 2, but if I'm going to do 3, I want it to be kind of like this, where it's like I'm not investing super early, or I think it's like round 7 where all of the quarterbacks should start going.
Yeah.
And so if I'm doing that, I don't really want to take 2 quarterbacks back to back there, where I'm doing I've done some Purdy Nicks or something like that, where I take Waddle Evans, Purdy Nicks, kind of back to back.
Right.
I'm okay with doing it in this situation where it's all right, we got Mahomes. We know that that he may not be fully Mahomes-y until
week 5-ish
of the season. So let's get 2 other quarterbacks. Let's invest in teams that people just completely hate right now.
Yeah.
And there's always quarterbacks that everyone hates that are just, they end up being good. Nobody wanted Darnold last year. So
right.
The year for that.
Exactly. And Stroud's rookie year, when he had obviously his best year so far in the league, but nobody wanted them then either. They were extremely cheap. So yeah, I totally agree with that approach. And I'm totally with you on the hold your nose and play the guys, those stacks like Geno's and the Jets and those teams, the Titans and whatever, so on and so forth. But yeah, I feel like those are the teams that are going to give you the best bang for your buck. And all they got to do is be just a little bit better than they were last year at that point. Have a couple guys pop off, hit your lineups a lot, and then you're cooking obviously. And then you just got to hope that the rest of your lineups that you just thought were going to be the right picks are the right picks. So, but that's best ball in a nutshell, right? That's just that's how it is, and that's why I love the strategy of this game. But anyway, Zane, I appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a fun show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It's been great for me. I obviously love talking ball, love talking with smart folks like yourself. So appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man. Good to connect. It's been, I feel like, like I said, I'll see you in the Twitter X streets, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I feel like we probably message on each other's tweets every couple of days. So
yeah, we're always, and that's what I was saying. It's always every time I do see one of your tweets, it's something okay, well, yeah, I like that too, or it's a player that I'm already been tweeting about too, and I'm all right, yeah, see, we're just always right there, lock and step. So, but man, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you on X? That way they can go follow you. Obviously, a great follow. Please go give them a follow. puts out great stuff all the time. Always talking analytics, which is great. So go ahead, plug it, man, and let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, so it's at Dhanani Zain, so my last name and then Zain. Someone already had Zain Dhanani, so
okay.
Who
I know that was one of those things like when the internet first started, and you're like making your email address, and it's like use your last name first. I didn't know if it was maybe just something you made way back when, and I know a lot of people used to do that. So, but
someone already had it, man. Someone had it. So
somebody stole
you can find me there. Also do some YouTube stuff too. Like we have this show that we created called The Cut Up. We haven't done it as often lately, especially in the off season, but we kind of do like a film review of a team. Awesome. And like analytics with that as well. I'm
gonna have to check that out.
Always building like new metrics and stuff too. This season, I'm building like a simulation engine for like for fantasy and like betting and all sorts of stuff too.
Awesome.
So I think there's a lot in the hopper right now. But yeah, you can catch all the analytics and film stuff that we do. So yeah,
absolutely.
At Dhanani Zain.
Yeah. You guys will give them a follow. Like I said, it's worth it. I promise. But anyway, this is going to be wrapping it. We're wrapping it. Extend the Drive Best Ball Live episode number 34. We drafted a big board. Hopefully, we're going to be splitting that money at the end of the year. But I'll have to have you on again, man. I mean, obviously, we got a long ways to go in the drafting season. We're not even near 20% into the drafting season. I mean, we're not even at the NFL draft yet. So hopefully, obviously, I'll have you on a couple more times before we actually get to kick. But Zain, appreciate you, man. And we're out. So thanks everybody for joining. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.